Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. I want to discuss the COVID Omicron variant, and I want to discuss a video I saw of Dr. Adelaja, Dr. No, Alakija, Dr. Alakija's view on this. Now, we need to separate the science from the sentiments. And to do this, we all need to start thinking. Someone said to me earlier on today, said, Daddy Freeze, it is really bad that why is China deciding to come and take over Uganda's airports now? That they know that there's this new Omicron, they know there's a pandemic. Why is China choosing this time to come and take over Uganda's assets? I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think it's a bad time for China to come and take over Uganda's assets for loan defaults? Or do you think it's a good time or an okay time? What are your thoughts? Let me pick your brains. What is your thought? Do you think it's a good time? In the midst of a pandemic, China comes and, oh yeah, thanks. I'll tell you a story of this watch. This was the first 40-day date that was officially sent from Rolex to Nigeria when it was first released. I got the very first one because I pre-ordered, having a meeting with Rolex execs one day as organized by Polo. So there's just a bit of history. It's the first day date 40 millimeter to officially come into Nigeria. Okay, so let me ask you, back to our topic. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing to take over the airport? Let me ask you guys, is it a good thing? A bad thing? Please, I need your opinions. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? You see, Nigeria needs to move away from sentiment. We need to depart from emotional windings and emotional cruise catching that we put ourselves on. I want to ask you a question. When Uganda went to borrow loan that they can now not repay, did they consider the economy of China when they were borrowing the loan? I'm asking you. Did they consider the economy of China? You see, I'm watching Dr. Alakija's opinion on the vaccines, and yes, I agree. She said that South Africa and many parts of Africa where the Omicron virus was found are being closed politically, not because there's any science there. But I also want us to remember that there was a time Europe was closed. Donald Trump closed the borders to Italy, to any European country. No one is closing their borders to Israel. Yes. Have you gone around Nigeria before? Do you think the way they do things in Nigeria, you can do them like that in Israel? When I wanted to get vaccinated, I called somebody up. And I said, I need this vaccine. Oh. And guys said, we've run out of vaccines, but don't worry, come to our office. You will pay somebody this amount of money. We will do certificate for you like you've been vaccinated. I didn't need the certificate for anything. I actually wanted the vaccine so I could protect myself. And somebody offered me, I think it was even 15,000. I just pay 15K, and don't worry, we'll give you the receipt like you've been vaccinated. The things that you think the world doesn't know, these things, the things that we get away with in Africa, you can't get away with them in any other part of the world. So if they're placing sanctions on Africa, or they're not willing to allow Africans to enjoy privileges other countries are enjoying, it is also largely due to our fault. It's not necessarily racism. We can't just whip out the racist card every time something goes wrong. I'm live and somebody is calling me from Ireland for what? Let me take this a little bit further, yeah? She said the world has not vaccinated and shared vaccine tech, blah, 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 blah. This person's calling me from Ireland. Yeah, hello? Yes, who's speaking? Okay, please. Yes, sir. Please send me a message or an email. Yes, I'm live. No problem. Please, no problem. So let's discuss this. They've not vaccinated. Sorry, if I didn't pick that call, it was going to ring and keep shutting down. And there's a time somebody's call came and shut down. I lost a 1 hour Instagram video. And you can't load a video that is more than 14 minutes on Instagram. And I'm not going to sit down with a 1 hour video and break it into 14 minutes and be loading it. So that's how I just lost that video that day. So please, try not to call me when I'm live. Back to what I'm talking about. I see it, in my humble opinion. I respect Dr. Alakija's knowledge and understanding and her position, but I, from my humble opinion, see it as a bit, I'm looking for the right word. I see it as we're expecting the Western world to share with us without, where were we when they were working out these things? I'm worried about this. I wouldn't say deflecting. I see it as a sense of entitlement that, oh, they must share the tech with us. Why couldn't we develop our own tech? I see it in my humble. When I watch that video, I'm in no official position to challenge the knowledge of Dr. Alakija, but from my perception, I saw it as a bit of an entitlement mentality. Oh yes, listen, if they're going to close South Africa, they might as well close Israel too. I don't support political zoning and saying, we will close these people because they are just Africans, and then we'll open these people because they are Israelis. Or no. If you're closing because because there's a strain or a mutation of the virus in that particular area, yes, close everywhere. Apply a one-size-fits-all rule. But you see, I also understand when they don't, because I know how problematic we can be. If you live in Nigeria, ask yourself, please, my darling daughter, go and stand beside you. I'll count 10 people. Out of the 10 people, tell me how many of them are wearing masks. Nigerians don't want to wear masks, and they don't want to collect vaccine. Have you seen up to 10 people? 3. And the 3 people, how many of them are wearing masks? 0. If I tell you to stand there for another 5 minutes, you see up to 10 people. Nobody's wearing masks. No proper measures have been put in place. Let me tell you something here. If this Omicron variant, war agbada, to gefila. Are you listening to me? You know what agbada is? The one that they do like this. If Omicron virus wore agbada, not a dark colored agbada, bright purple agbada, you know that kind of agbada that will stand out. You see the person from far, and held a whistle in his mouth like this and was blowing whistle. Imagine someone wearing a bright colored agbada with bright colored shoes, walking on the street and blowing makeup. If Omicron virus was walking on the street like that, Nigerians will not identify it. Do we even know whether we have the Omicron virus here? They said 2 Nigerians have tested positive as they arrived the UK. Somebody's just breaking it to me. I don't know how verified that is, but somebody just said it in the comment section on Instagram. If Omicron virus was wearing a purple agbada, dancing on the road and blowing whistle and beating drum, we will not identify it. Please send me pictures. We need to understand that we have failed ourselves. In my humble opinion, it is wrong for us to push blame. We can't sit here and blame Bill Gates. We can't sit here and blame UK or even China. Someone said it's been detected from 2 Nigerians in Canada. We can't, there's a point in life. You see, when I was growing up, I used to blame my parents. Oh, you did not allow me to do what I wanted to do. You know, but you see, by the time I got into the university, I started working on the radio. By the time I was done in university, I joined Cool FM. I ran out of any excuse. At that stage, if I failed, they cannot ask me. I am Fabas. Okay, you've sent it to me. Let me check it out. So there's a time when we run out of excuses. Okay, you sent me this. Okay, accept. All right. 2 patients had reported recent travel from Nigeria. Breaking news. Province says both cases reported are individuals with recent travel from Nigeria. All right, it's right here. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. So, what did I say? If Omicron was walking around this Nigeria, how come they did not discover it in Nigeria? It's when a Nigerian carried it to another man's country, that's when they discovered it. Thank you so much, brother. I am Fabs. Let me bring you live. I like people who work with facts. Thank you so much for this. This proves what I've been saying, Abi. If this thing were wearing agbada and dancing on the road, blowing whistle, Nigerians cannot identify it. It will have to go to another person's country, and from there, that's where they will identify it. I'm going somewhere with this. You see, blame media propaganda all you want. You can't run away from the facts. The facts are glaring. The facts are staring us in the face. Hello, brother.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the picture. I'm just following you. I like people like you. I just sent a follow back request. Where are you? You're based in Canada.
Canada, Toronto.
Toronto. I've been there.
Yeah.
It looks like New York, a smaller version of New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Exactly.
So thank you for that. I just said I should bring you on to appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
All right then.
So I can't really talk so long.
Okay then. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you for this.
Take care. You're welcome.
So back to what I was saying. We've run out of that time frame where we can blame everybody else. Oh, they're not sharing the tech with Africa. What happened to us developing our tech? Someone said to me that It is wrong. It's morally wrong for China to go to Africa now that they know that the Omicron virus is there, that they know that this thing is affecting them, blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Excuse me. It is wrong. It is morally wrong, Amara. It is morally wrong. This, that, those, blah, blah. Did you do that? The bathroom. You've done it. Okay, sit down. So, it is wrong. I said, listen, you can't continue blaming the faults of your father and your grandfather on an external force. Oh yes, there's the whole narrative of they came and they exploited us. There's the whole narrative of slave trade and all that. Yes, but it has expired. Your daughter does bad in JAM. You can't blame slave trade. I want to take this somewhere. There's an article I shared with my family earlier on today, and I want to read it to you. Let me find it. In 1960, someone said it hasn't. Anybody that said it hasn't, you are lazy and you like to find excuses for your failures. And I'm going to prove to you today that it has with this article. According to an article on medium.com by David Himbara, this article was written in September 2018. In 1960, China was poorer than most African countries, but here is China bankrolling Africa. Let's address the facts. In 1960, the per capita income of China was $89. In that same 1960, the Democratic Republic of Congo had $220. Cote d'Ivoire, $153. Ghana, $183. Kenya, $97. Liberia, $170. Nigeria, $93. Senegal, $247. South Africa, $433. And Zimbabwe, $281. Per capita income, 1960, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 countries. Out of these 10 countries, 9 are African countries, and China is the only odd one out, and China has the least per capita income in 1960. By 2017, Cote d'Ivoire, that was so high in 1960 at 220, Democratic Republic of Congo at 220, is now only $475. Cote d'Ivoire went from $153 to $1,662. Ghana went from $183 to $1,641. Kenya went from $97 to $1,507. Liberia went from $170 to $456. Nigeria went from $93 to $1,968. Senegal went from $247 to $1,033. South Africa went from $433 in 1960 to $6,160. Meanwhile, China went from $89 in 1960 to $8,827 by 2017. China was poorer than all the countries on the list. But by 2017, China became richer than, come on, let's add these figures. Democratic Republic of Congo is now on 456. Or 457. Let me add the one. Côte d'Ivoire, 1,662. Ghana, 1,641. Kenya, 1,507. Liberia, 456. Nigeria, 1986. So, as of today, China, that had a lower per capita income than any of these countries, now has a higher per capita income than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these countries combined. Who do we blame? COVID? China? Let me remind you, in 1960 we got our independence. They used us as slaves, they stole our resources, but by 1960 we had a fresh start. By 1960 we had palm oil, we had rubber, we had cocoa, we had groundnut pyramids. These were already enough to sustain our economy, and then we recently discovered oil. So in 1960 we were in wealth, China was in poverty. We were given a wealthy nation, already wealthy on its own, and with a recently discovered source of wealth that is greater, or that was greater than any other source of wealth that we had. What was the first thing we did? We went to war within 7 years. Instead of us coming together and building together, we allowed ourselves to be led down the path of war. And for 3 years, time that we should have spent building, time that we should have spent deciding, times that we should have spent creating, we were fighting each other. Let me read this to you about what this gentleman, David Hambara, wrote about China. He said China of the 1950s, the 1960s, and the 1970s was a disaster. The failed great leap forward together with environmental disasters induced a great Chinese famine that resulted in the deaths of tens of millions of people. The Great Chinese Famine began in 1958 and lasted until late 1961. China was in famine in 1960. Famine, they could not eat. We were in excess. This was followed by the 1960s to 1970s Cultural Revolution that plunged the country into further crisis. It was not until Deng Xiaoping, who was noted for saying this quote, "Keep a cool head and maintain a low profile," Never take the lead, but aim to do something big. Do something big, he did with his 4 modernizations. He launched his 4 modernizations in 1978. China was still in crisis. Nigeria was a wealthy country. We're under Obasanjo's regime in 1978. There were industry, agriculture, technology, and defense. His strategy soon inspired far-reaching market economy reforms that subsequently turned China into the world's second largest economy with a GDP of $12 trillion. That is how China lifted 800 million people out of poverty. 800 million is the combined population of Nigeria, South Africa, add Dubai, add Ghana, add Kenya. China lifted them up. Within the same time frame, Nigeria put Nigerians in poverty. Let's have this discussion. I want to ask the Ugandan government, when you collected the loan, what did you do with it? Look at your government. They are collecting loans up and down. Let me tell you, any day you cannot pay back the loan, the Chinese are going to come and collect your infrastructure. And I am sorry, but I think I'd rather a Chinese man manage us and give us results than what we are doing to ourselves. Let me tell you, it has gotten to a point where we need to tell ourselves the truth. Will you rather work in an airport where they are owing you salary, those who worked and retired are not getting their pension? Or will you rather let China come and put structures together and people are able to earn a living and the airport is able to function? How did we go from a country that was in famine when we were in wealth and that country is feeding us and you are still pointing fingers? The great Chinese famine happened at the time of our independence. And today they are feeding us and borrowing us money. Mind you, the Chinese population is 52% irreligious, only 2% Christian. Nigeria is 50% Christian. Uganda is 82% Christian. This shows you that it has nothing to do with God and everything to do with decision making, innovation, modernization, technology, production, agriculture. How can a country with 82% of its population Christian be begging and losing its resources to a country that less than 2% of its population believe in the Christian God? You know why? I want to read some Bible to you. Please open up Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 7. It says, just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is slave to the lender. Just as the rich rule the poor, so does the borrower remain a slave to the lender. Whether the borrower is Christian and the lender is Muslim, or the borrower is Muslim and the lender is pagan, or the borrower is atheist and the lender is a juju worshipper, a principle in life cannot be altered. As long as you are a borrower, you remain slave to a lender, whatever your religious affiliations or sentiments are. The rich will always make decisions on the poor because decision making requires finances. My daughter cannot walk into the house and say she wants to paint the house blue. When I was painting this house when I was moving in, it cost me about ₦1,000,000 and I didn't even use expensive paint. So go and bring the ₦1,000,000. Then you can paint the house pink. But as long as I'm the one going to bring the money, I'm going to have a decision. I don't want to live in a blue house. I want to live in a white house. You can be angry all you want. You can say I'm not democratic. What I'll say is, okay, then we're not painting the house. Then 6 months later, the house gets dirty and dirty. And one day it's okay, let's cuckoo paint it white. I'm the one bringing the money. You're not going to decide on my money. If you want to make decisions, go and earn your money. You can't tell someone how to use their funds. Let me take this a little further. From my conversation with a friend of mine who works in vaccines in Nigeria, I've forgotten his exact office, and I stand corrected. So anybody can correct me here. He said Nigeria has not paid $1 for all the vaccines we've received so far. $1. That they've been sending us aid. I'm sorry, but I'm embarrassed that Africa is still collecting aid. It's like we have 2 Nollywood actors. One of them saved and invested his money well, bought property, bought watches, bought Bitcoin. The other one partied and drank and sprayed money, and 15 years later, both of them are not doing well as Nollywood actors again, but one has some investment here and there, and the other one has nothing, and the other one has a kidney problem. And the one that has nothing is now angry with the one that has something, saying he's not contributing, giving him money to do an operation. I want to say and declare this clearly that yes, it is noble for the one who has to give the one who hasn't. But it is nowhere written in any constitution that he must come and take care of your own. You had the same money, you had the same opportunity. As a matter of fact, you had even better opportunities. You and your leaders and your parents squandered an entire generation's resources. And then you are now coming and pointing to, and in this one, I'm not talking to Dr. Alaki Jao. I'm talking to all of us. The only part of this that was meant for Dr. Adelaja was just the beginning part, where I spoke about the fact that I feel, in my humble opinion, that we're having a sense of entitlement, and dare I say it a little further, that our entitlement is even misplaced. Someone was like, this virus came from China. China could have done more. China could help the people. I want to ask you, did Ebola not come from Congo? Did the first known case of HIV, was it not from Congo? How many countries did Congo give relief? Have you forgotten what happened even in Nigeria? When somebody brought Ebola into Nigeria and we lost so many lives? Did Congo pay for those lives? Did Congo give us? You see, we sit down here and we just pick a nation and just decide to blame our woes on that nation. Let me give you an example. This COVID-19, we got palliatives. What happened to the palliatives? We got assistance from abroad. What did they do with the assistance? You see, our excuse has expired though. It expired a long time ago. And this is that time when Nigeria needs begin to look inwards. When Nigeria was wealthy in 1960, Dubai was a desert. Singapore was in poverty and crisis. China was in a famine. Today, China is a global power. Singapore is one of the wealthiest nations in Africa, in Asia. And Dubai is paradise on earth. And we are still blaming the British. And we are, oh yes. You see, Singapore is predominantly Buddhist. China is predominantly atheist. Dubai is predominantly Muslim. They are all successful. It shows you once again that you don't need to be Muslim, Christian, or atheist to succeed. We now have pastors that are coming and blaming the global crisis on satanic billionaires. I am worried about the understanding of such people. First of all, there's no such thing as a satanic billionaire. I studied the Bible from cover to cover. Not only did I study the Bible, I studied the rabbats with rabbinic scholars. I studied the Apocrypha. I studied the Nag Hammadi library. And I even studied scripture under the tutelage of Hebrew and Aramaic scholars, and the New Testament under the tutelage of Greek scholars, because the New Testament was first rendered in Greek. The first language of the New Testament was Greek. I have read this book from cover to cover. I've read books that are supposed to be in the Bible that are not. I've read the ones that are not supposed to be in the Bible that are there. And I can tell you for free that nowhere in the scripture was there ever anything like a satanic billionaire. In the entire Bible, Satan only killed 10 people, the family, the children of Job. And it was under God's approval. Satan has never killed anyone in the Bible that God did not approve of. I dare you today to call your geos to challenge me on this. Someone said you are studying it like encyclopedia. Oh yes, because if I studied like your pastor did, I'll be dumb like they are. That's the ones that don't understand. When you start studying the Bible like encyclopedia and start reading all the books that were left out, you realize that they've been lying to you. If it's not that you are not okay, how can Nigeria have so many 10 churches on every street preaching prosperity gospel and only 2% of the whole population of Nigeria has 500,000 in their account and more? And Nigeria has 50% of its population as Christian? If it adds up to you, you are not okay. Go start reading the Bible like encyclopedia. You've been reading a book that is a history book or an attempt at a history book. You've been reading it with the spirituality of people that are as ignorant as rocks. Read the Bible. I dare any of your geos to come and challenge me. I said, Satan has never killed anybody that God did not approve of him killing. So you coming out to say somebody is a satanic billionaire, you have no scriptural basis to make that statement. And I dare you to come and prove it. Instead of you to come and fight me and curse me, leave me. I swear to you, if you can prove this thing to me, I will prostrate for you. Anywhere I see you in this life, I will lie down and prostrate and give you. We're not fools. Let's tell ourselves the truth. What is a satanic billionaire? Let me read to you scriptures. Satan only killed 10 people. Let me read a scripture to you. Like I say, I dare anybody to come up and show me another set of people apart from those 10 that Satan killed. Come and show me the 11th person in the Bible. Now let me read this. First Samuel chapter 15. I'm reading from verse 1. One day Samuel said to Saul, "It was the Lord who told me to anoint you as king of his people, Israel." Now listen to this message from the Lord. "This is what the Lord of heaven's army has declared. I have decided to settle accounts with the nation of Amalek for opposing Israel when they came from Egypt. Now go and completely destroy the entire Amalekite nation, men, women, children, babies, cattle, sheep, goats, camels, and donkeys." This was God giving an instruction to Saul to wipe out an entire nation. Someone says Satan kills where he go against the law of the Lord. It's a lie. There is no biblical proof for that. When Christ said Satan was a murderer from the beginning in John chapter 8, it was figurative. And what was the murder? Because Satan deceived Eve to go and eat from the forbidden fruit, and then they lost immortality. It's not like Satan ever killed anybody. The only people he killed were the 10 people in Job. And it was God that God asked Satan, said, "Where have you been?" Satan said, "I've been patrolling the earth." God said, "Have you seen Job?" So you need to understand. Let me read another scripture to you. Go with me to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7. "I create the light and make the darkness. I send the good times and the bad times. I, the Lord, am the one who does these things." He creates the good times and the bad times. He makes the light and he makes the darkness. It's not Satan that creates any bad time. You see, your pastors cannot sit you down and tell you that their doctrine has failed. So they must say that there is a devil stopping the doctrine from working. It's a lie. I declare to you today that anything bad or anything good on the surface of the earth comes from only one source, and it is from God. Someone says Satan only works with you. Satan doesn't work, and all he does is deceive, lie to you, finish. Satan's implication is that you will not make. Let me. You see, when Christ said you will fight against principalities, let's read that scripture in context so we understand. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 21. Before I read verse 21, I want to read from verse 19. Let me read from 18. "I pray that your hearts," and that person is calling from Qatar. Please let me pick the call or it will just interrupt us. Yeah, hello? Yes, good evening. How may I help you? I'm live. So can you send me an email or a text message? Did you send a text message or a WhatsApp? Because I'm not on WhatsApp. I've not gotten it. What is it about? Okay. Okay, what do you want to donate towards? Oh, we've sorted them out for now. We have sorted them out for now. Hold on, sorry. We have sorted them out for now. Thank you so much. But should any other any other case come up, I'll be grateful if you can, and I'll let you know during my life if we need any funds. But for now, the two people who needed money were sorted out. And I will appreciate you letting me know. This is my number. Please, I will appreciate it. Not a problem. I would save it. Thank you. God bless you, and thank you for reaching out, and thank you for offering us. God bless. Very kind of him, but fortunately, our brother who needed a hernia surgery, we've completed the surgery. We gave him some money. The surgery cost 170,000. We gave him an additional 40,000 for his feeding, his drugs, and everything. And because he doesn't have a job and he's one of our members, we have put him on a monthly salary of 20,000 a month for 6 months, just to show you what we do. And the other gentleman, we have taken care of his car, and there are other things that I plan to assist with that we're in the process of assisting him with. I just said I should say, when the guy picked the call and said he wanted to donate, some other churches will collect money. Right now, I even have data, everything. There are some times that for one reason or the other, I use about 100,000 naira data every month to make sure I'm able to broadcast to all of you. Anyway, let's go back to our topic. That was off the point, but I'm glad I picked that call. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 18. I pray that your hearts will be flooded with light, so you can understand the confident hope he has given to those he called, his holy people, who are his rich and glorious inheritance. I pray you are flooded with light. Meanwhile, your own light bringer is Satan. That is why I keep telling you, if you read 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 19 in Latin, the original word in that Latin book is Lucifer, copied from the original Greek word that was first rendered as phosphorus. Peter called Christ Lucifer in the Latin Bible. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 19. Check it out. I say it all the time. Lucifer has never been Satan. It was ignorance that made Lucifer Satan, just like the continuous ignorance that is coming from different pulpits. He says, I pray that your heart will be flooded with light. But your own light bringer is a devil. How do you expect to join the light? He said, I also pray that you will understand the incredible greatness of God's power for us who believe in him. This is the same mighty power that raised Christ from the dead and seated him in the place of honor at God's right hand in the heavenly realms. He is far above any ruler or authority or leader or anything else. Not only in this world, but also in the world to come. God has put all things under the authority of Christ, and he has made him head over all things for the benefit of the church. Christ has been made head of all things for the benefit of the church. But when the church doesn't understand, and the church preaches lies and ignorance, and the church preaches heresy, how do you expect to tap? How do you expect? There was a story I read one day. A guy went to buy a chainsaw. The guy who sold the chainsaw said you can cut 10 trees every day with this chainsaw. So the guy went the first time, he said, I've only been able to cut 2 trees. The guy said, really? No, that 2 trees? No, that even our old model can cut more than 2 trees. At this new model, you should be able to cut 10 trees every single day. The guy went and struggled, and so he just came back and said, you know what, I give up. Every single day I've tried, I've never been able to cut more than 3 trees. So the guy said, let me take a look at your chainsaw. As he took the chainsaw like this, he just pulled, the chainsaw is like a generator, he just pulled the wire, and the thing just like, grrr. The man said, what did you just pull? What's that noise? You don't understand the joke. The man did not know that the chainsaw had engine. He was using the chainsaw to cut a tree manually. No wonder he could only cut 3 trees a day. Meanwhile, all he needed to do was on the chainsaw and hold it to the tree. And the chainsaw just cut, bagger, and go and cut the second tree. Meanwhile, Baba, they use the chainsaw manually like this because they don't know the work of the chainsaw. You don't know the power you have in you as a Christian. You are allowing people to confuse production with anointing. They pray for you, lay hands on you every day. You fast more than the average, and yet you are still poor. And you were born rich. You see, those ones that are rich now were born poor. China was poor in the 60s. Singapore was poor in the 60s. Dubai was a desert in the 60s. They rose to wealth. While you, silver spoon Nigeria, declined, descended from wealth into poverty, despite 10 churches on every street. Today I want to tell you that God has nothing to do with whether you're successful or not, because the scriptures are very clear in Matthew chapter 5. He said the Lord sends his sun and his rain on the just and the unjust. Pharaoh in Genesis chapter 41 was pagan, yet God gave him the revelation of what he was going to do for the next 14 years. The fact that you worship, you see, whether you are Christian or not, that determines where you are going. But in this world, if you don't walk, you will not get anything new. So, here's where I want to end this. Like I said earlier on, I sincerely think that the excuse that we've been giving and our parents have been giving, that other people need to come and carry our mess, has expired. I think we also need to start asking our parents. We've refused to hold our parents responsible. What did you guys do with the country? You took us to church. Somebody was telling me that, why is there an Omicron virus? That is the devil. Why is the virus chasing? I said, why you will not read Darwin's, what is it called? What's the name of that popular Darwin book? Origin of Species. Thank you. Have you read it? Go and download it and read it. That's your assignment. Go and read Origin of Species. Go and read about natural selection. Go and read about adaptation. It's as simple as ABC. Let me simplify it for you. There are yellow butterflies flying in a green jungle. Lots of lizards, chameleons, and frogs eat them. It is very easy for you to spot a yellow butterfly in a green jungle, right? Then one day there's a mutation, a mistake in the genetic code, and a green butterfly is born. Now, because that butterfly is green, it is harder for the chameleons, the lizards, and the frogs to spot it. So it tends to live longer than the yellow butterflies. And now, because that green butterfly contains an error in its own genetic code, transfers some of it to a yellow butterfly it mates with. So the yellow butterflies, instead of having yellow children, they begin to have yellow and green children. Now, yellow and green makes it a bit more difficult, not as easy to spot as yellow and not as difficult to spot as green, but somewhere in between. So before you know it, you now realize that yellow and green butterflies are surviving better than yellow butterflies. Within a period, all butterflies will change, because after a while you only have yellow and green butterflies mating. And when yellow and green butterflies mate and they give birth to 5 children, 3 are yellow, 2 are green. 2 are green, 2 are yellow, 1 is yellow and green. The yellow will be the first to die. Yes, because they will be the easiest to spot. Then the yellow and green will survive relatively well, while the green will flourish. Before you know it, all the butterflies will have turned to green. Natural selection. Now, while this is going on, they will give birth to 1 orange butterfly that will be eaten along the way because it does not have any special adaptation to survive, and its mutation is not giving it any hope. Why is the Omicron so difficult? Because now it evades the normal testing. It doesn't have cough. It doesn't have fever. It just goes straight and becomes COVID pneumonia. So your parents were reading, they were not even reading Bible, they were reading Daily Manna. that somebody sat down and concocted and made it look like it's reality. If they were reading Bible, they would not be where they are. They were reading Daily Manna and daily all these things and listening to unlettered pastors preaching what does not exist. All of you here, buy your parents, what is it called? Origin of Species. Let them go and read about evolution. Put that Daily Manna aside and read Origin of Species. Start understanding these things. There's no witchcraft, there is science. Is adaptation, is what other name do I call it now? Natural selection. The green butterflies are surviving better than the yellow butterflies. So the yellow butterflies are getting eaten while the green butterflies are surviving and multiplying. Natural selection. Go and read about the findings of Charles Darwin on the Galapagos Islands. How many of your parents read The Origin of Species? How many of them? Ask them how many of them read Daily Man. All of them will raise their hand. That auntie that said it was a devil, that she went to heaven and went to hell, and so she came back again to recount. Those ones who don't believe and mumu themselves, they don't gawk themselves, they go. Someone came here and said, you look ashy. How do I look ashy? If not that the fact that your brain is paining you. We are talking of something serious. You come and comment like you bounce on your head, like your head is a ball, and as you move, you be bouncing on it. If you don't have anything to say, please go and read The Origin of Species. Go and read books. Read. Jumping from one blog to the other, one comment section to the other, making a ridiculousness of yourself. Those that will come and talk nonsense on the pulpit, their church was full, their church will still continue to be full as long as coconut head like you walk around the street. So that is what I have to say to you today. You have to wake up from these illusions and delusions. You are the architect. Your parents are the architects. Your grandparents are the architects of Nigeria's misfortune. They taught you discrimination. They taught you hate. Nigeria has 5 churches on every street. The main message of Christianity is love. Galatians chapter 5 verse 14. All of the law of Moses is summed up into one command: love your neighbor as yourself. The first thing you notice when you come to Nigeria that is absent is that nobody loves their neighbor. Your parents will teach you how to pray so that your enemies will die, going against the instructions of Christ in Matthew chapter 5. Then they'll come and say Christianity is not a religion. Nigerian version of Christianity is a very big and directionless religion. Nothing to show for it. What do we have to show? Are we more moral than the countries that are not religious? Nigeria is second only to Jamaica when it comes to paternity fraud. Are we richer than the countries that are not religious? Are we safer? Do we even love each other more than the countries that are not religious? The answer is no, so our religion system has failed. So here's my advice to you all. Let's stop holding other people responsible for our failures. Let us learn from the Chinese. Let us learn from the South Koreans. Let us learn from the Singaporeans. Let us learn from the Middle Easterns. The United Arab Emirates, the Emiratis. Let's learn from them. Let's understand the value of good leadership, not thieves in power. Let's understand the value of work instead of prayer. Prayer is good for your spirit. God is not going to sit down, come and kill any enemies for you. Stop it. It failed your parents. It failed your grandparents. It is failing you. Don't let it fail your children. Someone said it is too late. It's not too late. We can start now and save our children. So thank you so much, all of you. A wonderful session it was with you. And remember, if we're going to fight this COVID-19, we have to be obedient. COVID-19 is spread from person to person. Do yourself a favor and sit at home instead of doing dirty December. That dirty December you will do, you will kill somebody because of it. Somebody whose immune system is not strong. Somebody who can't fight the virus is going to leave this earth because your body is too restless. You cannot sit down and not do dirty December. Dirty December has a price tag. People are going to lose their lives. And it is going to be your fault. Sit in your house. Wear your mask. Obey COVID protocol. This is how far I can go. Take care. I love you all. And God bless. Izu Lucas, say make him papa go smoke igbo. Well done. I go block you. Izu Lucas. See, I should be like Winch last born.